Howdy, our names are Stump and Stem, and we want to make a farming sim inspired by our favorite classic game, Harvest Moon 64. Except neither of us has really made a game before, and we want that game to be good, so we're not going to make it yet. Instead of that, we're making Aardvark Agriculture, which is a game where you're not an aardvark, and the primary mechanic is actually cooking. To quickly introduce ourselves, I'm Stem, and I'm a professional animator. I can also make 3D assets, so I'm doing the art for any games that we make together. My partner Stump is also an artist, but professionally they're a software engineer, so they're programming the game while also contributing to some character and UI designs. We're going to make this game in Godot because it is free and lightweight, which is perfect for this little project. My personal inspiration for this game came from Harvest Moon 1 on the Game Boy Color, which is a horrible, awful game, but it was also my first farming sim and the reason why I've wanted to make games my whole life. Harvest Moon GB is extremely bare bones. It exists only on your farm, with the outside world being nothing more than a menu. I suggested that we should clone it specifically because of that, so we could make something small and quick that we'd easily be able to put together in our free time. Stump, meanwhile, had been cooking their own concept for a game where you make dishes for people based on vague prompts, and they suggested that the two ideas be combined. They also said that the character should be an armadillo because those are very cute and very underrated. Here's the gist. You are a farmhand taking over the business because your boss is either retiring or going to take on a different farm or something like that. Your job is to tend the land and cook meals for the people living in the nearby town with the crops that you grow. The town is a strange little place found at the bottom of the well on your farm, populated by a variety of hungry animals, several of whom run shops where you can exchange food for goods like seeds, ingredients, and improvements to your farm. To differentiate ourselves from traditional farming sims, we had some new ideas for how we could handle the mechanics. As an armadillo, you're able to till the soil by digging with your claws. Since you're small, carrying around other tools isn't something that you can do all the time. Things like your watering can are going to be physical objects on your farm that have to be picked up and carried around when you want to use them. The same goes for your inventory. You don't have any pockets, so instead you have a big backpack that fits everything from seeds to harvested veggies to boxed lunches. There's no shipping bin either, and no money. It's just a food-based bartering system. Everything that you grow is meant to be either eaten or cooked and then eaten. Cooking meals is more about finding interesting combinations of ingredients rather than following a recipe. People in the town are going to request specific flavors or ingredients, and you need to figure out combinations of those things that are going to fit their requests. Our current idea for cooking was inspired by Breath of the Wild, where you're not required to follow any kind of a recipe. Any combination of ingredients is going to yield something that's edible. But if you use the right ingredients, you can find special recipes that are more valued by the shops and the people in town. Unlike Breath of the Wild, any recipes you figure out will be recorded in your cookbook, so you can recreate them more easily. The town exists to encourage you to experiment with the cooking mechanics and try planting different things on your farm. Admittedly, this area is the least developed right now. It'll come more into play once we've figured out how we want the progression to work, both narratively and mechanically. The areas currently planned to exist are a shop that sells in-season seeds, a general store that sells out-of-season ingredients so you don't get completely locked out of cooking certain types of food at certain times of the year, a furniture and yard shop where you'll get farm upgrades, a black market that sells different random items every day, and a general living space where you can meet the folks underground who don't own shops, and you can probably experience some kind of a story that we haven't figured out yet. We've already gotten some of the basic aspects working, like being able to walk around. And that's about it. Despite what we expected, it was not that simple getting to this point, but we'll discuss that in later entries. Since we've not made a game together before, we have no idea how long this is going to take until it's finished, but we at least have a very clear goal in mind to work towards. We'll all be finding out how long this takes for us to make together. For now, thanks for your interest, and I hope you stick around to see where this game takes us.